Hello, everybody. My name is Noah Davis,
And I'm Luke Davis, Noah's brother.
and we are the Divide Brothers, is what we call ourselves. We just wanted to start a YouTube channel to kind of go over some of the things we've learned over the last few years about our bread and butter, the Tour Divide mountain bike race. So a little bit about the Tour Divide to start out with. It is we've done it a total of we started 6 times, we finished it 4 times. We together as a total. I've done it 1.5 or 2.5 times. Luke's done it 2.5 times. I guess when you average it out. And just a little bit about it. It's a 2,700 mile mountain bike race from Banff, Canada to Antelope Wells, New Mexico. It starts about the second week of June. So, and you go down through all the Rocky Mountains, crossing the Continental Divide. Um, and then as it goes through, starts in obviously Canada, and then it goes to Wyoming, right, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho for a little bit, Colorado, and then into New Mexico at the Mexican border. So, in our experiences, we obviously didn't start with the Tour Divide. Luke and I are pretty well versed in um, what we've done. So we're just going to go over like some of our credentials and stuff and why we think you should be listening to us as our advice. And this channel is just going to be somewhat of an informal way to get information out to people, like how to do an effective Tour Divide without necessarily a very high budget, because we both did it while working in school and whatnot. All right. So,
Perfect. Yeah, and I'll take over there for a little bit. So when Noah and I were, well, yes, Noah was 10 and I was 12. We kind of started off, our dad got us on the track of doing some outdoor adventure stuff. As he would always say, don't let school get in the way of your education. So I believe it was well, I was really young in school, wasn't even paying attention, so we left school a little bit earlier. We did a 73-day trip around Lake Superior. Noah was actually the youngest to finish it. I was the youngest to finish it in a solo kayak because he was 10 at the time, so he was in a tandem kayak with my dad. Um, After that, we took summer off, and then my older brother, Will, who will be on the channel here a little bit and has actually raced the Colorado Trail, it's kind of his bread and butter. Got second in it once, won it once, and then toured it once with Noah. But he did that kayaking trip with us, and then he also did a hiking trip, part of the PCT, around 60 days the next summer. And then after that, Noah was really looking at getting back into the action. So collectively, as a family, Noah, Will, my dad, and I, all went on a trip. It was based on the Tour Divide route. We started at the border, so we didn't do the Canadian American Light section. We just did the American section. We did it in, Noah, do you know how long it took us? It was
like
40,
45 days or
yeah,
something
something
like
like
that.
that to kind of,
Some,
we were just doing it as a route. We just wanted something to do. On the route, we actually kept getting asked, "Are you guys racing this?" repetitively, and we didn't even know there was a race at the point, but we just kept hearing about this documentary that we should watch. So we went back on, and I believe that was, when you had to rent it from Netflix. Now you can watch it on YouTube. Going over the Great Divide Race. Sure enough, the next summer, Will and I, my older brother Will, were very interested in doing this race. So we pitched the idea to our parents saying, we wanted to do it. Of course, at the time I was 16 and wanted to do it all by myself. Will was perfectly okay with that because he wanted nothing to, he didn't want me slowing him down. So we pitched it to our parents thinking we'd have no shot at doing it. And then kind of to our surprise, they said, hey, you guys are 16 and 17. You are perfectly equipped to go out and tackle this bike ride, as it was called. So we went out and we did it, and one of the best experiences of my life. Getting out to do that when I was 16, made a ton of mistakes, which, at 16 was on this route that I was not prepared for. Call it, adventurous, plain awful parenting, whatever you want. But I learned a lot. I was able to finish it that time. I did it in just over 20 days. Came back the next year, determined to go a whole lot faster, beat Will's time. He was, I believe, around 17 days at the time. So determined to come back, go a lot faster, which I thought I could just not sleep hardly at all. Made it to middle of Colorado and then totally burnt out. Um, but
Wait, which
I've been
town in
wanting,
Colorado was it? Just so like people know.
yeah, Silverthorne. So right after that miserable climb up Butte Pass. So that was yeah, so that was my second attempt. At that point, as next year, so I was 17 at the time, and really have been wanting to go back ever since. But we'll talk a little bit more about upcoming divide attempts we may have. But pass it over to Noah to kind of give his experience on the divide and actually his phenomenal race that we did just last year.
Oh yeah, well, so like Luke said, I was 13 the first time, and I was actually on a tandem bicycle. So one thing you should know about riding the divide in a tandem bicycle, it is not a good idea. It seems like it's a good idea, but it's actually harder in pretty much every way. But we did it, and it was fine. It probably slowed us down quite a bit. But anyways, so because we're out there for 46 days, we saw a lot of different stuff, and we'll talk all about all the different conditions we've seen in later videos. But the main thing, yeah. So between my first divide attempt and my between my touring and my actual divide attempt, I went and I did a few bikepacking trips. I actually ran in college, and Luke Nordic skied in college too. We forgot to mention as well. So that kind
Yeah.
of locked up our summers a lot of the times, just so like we couldn't actually do a lot of these trips. But as soon as I finished running, um, I got back into it. Um, so one of the things I also have done is I've done I think like 350 miles of the Colorado Trail. We did it like me and Will did it, and my oldest brother, in like 4.5 days. So we were pushing our pace pretty hard. And learned a lot there. Then I went up to the Arctic Circle and did a road called the Dempster Highway, which we started in Dawson City and went all the way up to the Arctic Ocean. So it's like 600 miles of that. And that was very unique. Learned a lot there. And then, yeah, so 2023, after I finished running in college, after I finished college, I went and I tried to race it. Didn't really have a lot of input from my older brothers, which was thinking back a little bit of a mistake. I was just like, yeah, I can just wing this. Went to like a normal like run of the mill bike shop that is not really known for its tour divide success and had never sent somebody on a touring bikepacking trip as far as I'm aware, and had a pretty bad breakdown in Whitefish, Montana, and like had my rim pretty much come all the way apart because half the spokes were just cranked way too tight. But like I said, we'll talk about it more later. And then I was like, well, I can't stop there. So then I went back and did a bunch of research, got a new bike and a lot, some better stuff, and then did it in 2024 this last summer, and I finished it in 17 days and 10 hours, and I think 11 minutes, and then I did. I was 12th place, and I think I was the second male American. So it's a very big race worldwide actually, and it's turned into that over the last couple of years. And it's really I've heard a lot of people say it's a Grand Prix of the um, like long distance bikepacking. Like everybody's like looking to do it. But anyways, so that's just kind of a brief overview about us and what we've done. We have a ton of outdoor experience. Our bikepacking experience has definitely like our knowledge has been, slowly built up over the years. I've made a lot of mistakes. Luke's made a lot of mistakes.
Probably
And
made more mistakes.
yeah,
Not that
we've
it's
probably made
competition, but
and together we've made enough mistakes that you'd be surprised about how much like doing wrong you have to do before you can get it right. So anyways, that's just why we decided to make this YouTube channel, to kind of share with people that are interested in it and just like get them involved in, like, especially people like around our ages that are kind of pressed for money and like time when you're in school and college and when you're out of college and you're just starting out, just how to like do this effectively, and not have it go wrong like we have had a few times.
yeah, and this, if you can't tell, it's obviously not a professional production. We're just two brothers, and we are passionate about the race. And over the past year or so, as Noah's doing the race, preparing for the race, and after the race, we've been talking, we've been having these conversations, going over just, really anything, gear ratios, what kind of gear to bring, should you do flat bar, suspension, where to put the bags, all these things. And as we're talking about this, we've just realized that there's not a whole lot of information out there on that. You have the very elite end information. Neil Benedicto in bikepacking.com has done some great information on that. And he's obviously someone who's won a lot of these races. But that, is quite expensive. Doing it, kind of at the most, to do it at the top level. So this, if you're watching this channel with hopes of winning the divide, definitely still do that. But, I would probably look elsewhere for some of the top end information. I myself am very interested in a lot of the different setups. So you'll hear us, hopefully in future videos doing conversations over, different bar selection. I'm thinking about doing it here 2025 or 2026. So working on building up my bike. So more so just as I'm doing the research, going over that, should you do flats, drops, suspension, full suspension, as Justinus did, and he just won it, I believe, the first person ever to win it on a full suspension. So that's giving us different things to think about. But more so just our opinions. If you did have things you wanted us to talk about, because we'll probably miss a lot, feel free to just let us know, and we'll be happy to, again, give our opinions on, how to do this race, how to do it in a budget-friendly manner, and, learn hopefully from a lot of the mistakes that I have made and Noah's made, and, that we've heard about when we're out there on the route. So that's pretty much what we wanted to say. And yeah, Noah, is there anything else?
Oh no, not really. I mean, just we're like it's kind of one of those things when you do the divide once, you're never really can give it up. Like you're always kind of thinking about, oh, what could I do better? I mean, Luke's Luke's done it. Well, he started it. Well, he toured it once, then he's raced it twice, and it's like he still wants to do it again. And it's just like one of those things. Like I've done it. I've started it twice, the race twice, and it's like, oh man, I can't stop thinking about my next thing. So, with that being said, we are kind of like lifelong students of this long distance bike packing and what that involves and everything like that. So yeah, we're really just trying to, and also like what I found last year when I was preparing without really much outside help, the knowledge is somewhat limited because like this Luke said, there's the elite, and then there's the people that are doing it in like 30 to 40 days. They're touring it, and they've got like tents and Crocs. They've got like all this extra stuff that like you won't be doing in that like 17 to like 22 day pace. And that's really who we're trying to talk to is like these people they're like serious racers. They're really just getting after it, but they're not a professional biker. And like that's what we're really trying to get to. So we hope you guys can learn a lot. And like Luke said, please, I'll put an email in the description of someplace you can email, and we'll try to like respond to you and also just kind of go over stuff as Luke says, as he's researching, we'll put in our experience, because a lot of times experience is like for these kind of races is super valuable because you'll hear everything and a lot of it will be wrong. But
Yep.
it's like it's hard to know what's wrong until you've actually messed it up. So anyways, yeah, and please, yeah, just we'll try to do weekly videos and get stuff in, so just keep tuned in, and yeah, stick around for some more information. All right, thanks guys.
Yep. Thanks.